We need some game of the week music. How about it's the game of the week? Yeah.
I like it.
Don't do that again.
Detroit is at Minnesota. The game of the week. Yeah. All right. Check out the game of the week, folks. Detroit at Minnesota. What does game of the week mean? It's going to be freaking awesome. Just like Dolphins Ravens last week. And we'll update the stat every week until it ends. Detroit has now allowed 94 rushing yards or a rushing touchdown to a running back in 15 of their last 19 games since the start of 2021. Start Dalvin Cook. Are there any tough calls in this game, Dave Richard?
I think Hawkinson's a tough call just because he's gotten decent target volume, but he's not doing a lot in the red zone, not inside the 10. I think he's run 3 routes inside the 10 on 11 snaps, if I'm recalling correctly. So he's definitely somebody that I think fantasy managers could be a little frustrated by. I think you should pivot to Tyler Higbee. You may pivot to Zach Ertz, maybe even Logan Thomas ahead of TJ Hawkinson.
Okay. How about Adam Thielen? I mean, we did talk about him a little bit earlier. He would appear to be a tough call here. I mean, this is the game of the week, so
yeah, I would start him. I like him as a number 3 receiver.
I'm going to give you, Jamie, an updated Adam Thielen stat. Hold on to your lunch, everybody. He now, over the last 3+ seasons, so 3 seasons plus 2 games here, he's played 35 games, Adam Thielen, 35 games that he hasn't been limited in or left early with an injury. And in those 35 games, he has fewer than 60 yards in 22 games out of 35. So it's a little concerning here. Is this a last chance for Adam Thielen kind of game, Joe Boo?
Who drafted Thielen as a starter, though, in a 2-receiver league? That's the question.
People that didn't take a lot of receivers early in their drafts. It depends on who else I have at receiver and what I've done off the waiver wire and trade.
Garrett Wilson has passed him, clearly.
Yeah.
Drake London has passed him, clearly.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Curtis Samuel has passed him. Jahan Dotson should be ahead of him. There are a lot of guys.
I'm not willing to go there on Garrett Wilson yet because of Zach Wilson. He really could just
for this week. It's
this week, but rest of season. I didn't know. Did you mean this week or rest of season with that list?
I meant rest of season.
Yeah, Zach Wilson could just be so bad for everyone. All right, and remember, I've got some Justin Jefferson. I think Justin Jefferson's a great play. Number 1 wide receivers destroy Detroit, and that was the case certainly. In
what's his player prop for this week?
Oh, I'm not sure, but he was not.
I think it was like 7.5 receptions.
What about
I think you were getting odds on 7.5.
You are
actually.
No, you are.
Oh, Irv Smith is in 7.5 or 7. I think it's more like big plays. Like he's going to have 100. He could have 150 yards. I wouldn't bet on 150 yards, but I think over 100 for Justin Jefferson.
Let's see what his player.
Yeah, figure that. Let me know. Quickest, slickest looker. Irv Smith, 56% rostered, coming off a great game. Well, yeah, it could have been an amazing game if he caught a 60-yard, 55-yard touchdown pass, but he dropped it. Still caught a touchdown, had 8 targets at the Eagles. Irv Smith is in the starting discussion, Jamie. Who would you start him over?
We talked about this in the offseason about how much Kevin O'Connell's offense would mirror the Rams' offense and Sean McVay's offense. After 2 games, it kind of looks a little similar after what Irv Smith did based on his target volume, that Irv Smith is playing the Tyler Higbee role, and that Thielen is kind of being a touchdown-dependent Allen Robinson, and that Justin Jefferson is just going to get fed targets. It's a very similar mirror right now, at least. Now, I think this is the problem for Thielen, and we haven't had the KJ Osborne game yet because I think that's coming at some point. And so I think Irv Smith is right there with TJ Hawkinson. He's right there with potentially Tyler Higbee. I think Higbee's better because he's more established, but you get past the guys that in terms of the starting options, and for the Dalton Schultz manager that's been searching for somebody, if Irv Smith's still available, he should absolutely be picked up. But I think if you just look at where Hawkinson's at right now, where Irv Smith is at right now, where Zach Ertz with his matchup, these guys are all very similar situations. So I was encouraged by what Smith did last week, and really the first game that he was featured after the thumb injury, and so I'm hopeful for him to have another quality game this week.
Well, are you hopeful enough to start him over TJ Hawkinson?
I believe they're back to back in my rankings, so it's very close right now. If Hawkinson has another limited practice on Friday, then I will make that move because he's clearly bothered by something. He's got a hip injury, and so less than 100%. Where the Vikings, I think they're going to have a lot of success throwing the ball. So I don't mind Irv Smith over Hawkinson if Hawkinson is not 100%.
All right, Jim in our chat says, "I hope Jared Goff goes off." And he's been okay. He's throwing the ball a lot deeper downfield than he was. He's 7th in yards in air yards per pass attempt. He was dead last season. However, he's not really completing those passes. He's still 22nd in completed air yards per pass attempt. So he's throwing downfield, but they're incomplete. He's making his money on Amon-Ra St. Brown. Kirk. Oh, let me start. No, I'll go to Goff. Goff or Jameis?
Goff.
Goff.
Can I give you a fun Goff stat?
Yeah, tell me real quick. Hall of Fame Trinity or Jared Goff?
Goff.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we had Amon-Ra St. Brown on FFT earlier this week, and I asked him about when did you feel like things clicked for you, and he referenced the Vikings game last year. We caught the game winner. I forget what week it was. It was late in the season, but including that game into this season because Goff missed 2 of the games in the stretch from that point until now. So Goff has played 6 games over the Amon-Ra St. Brown breakout. Of those 6 games, he scored 21 or more fantasy points in 4 of them. And so it's an easy thing to look at and say, okay, receiver having this monster performance, quarterback following suit. It's also, you got to give Goff credit. He's played a lot better, took advantage of this Ben Johnson offense, which, he's going to be a very popular name this offseason if things continue for the Lions. And so as Amon-Ra St. Brown is going, Goff is going with him or vice versa. So he's certainly in the discussion of low-end starter for this week, better than the Hall of Fame Trinity, and somebody that you can pivot to as a good streamer.
I hate to ruin the Goff party, but if Rodgers has his full complement of receivers, I'll take him over Goff.
Is that just Allen Lazard? I mean, does he even need?
No, he needs Watkins. He needs Watkins too.
For this week or rest of season?
This week.
Oh, okay.
And rest of season.
Yeah, I'll take Goff this week. I take Rodgers rest of season, but I'll take Goff this week.
Hey, Goff, by the way, going back to last year, and Jamie was kind of talking about it, I'll just give you the fantasy points. His last 4 games, he scored 21.5 or more fantasy points in 6-point per passing touchdown leagues in 3 of 4 games. 1 bad game was against Denver. So the 3 good games were against Minnesota, Arizona, and then Green Bay, who played basically played half their starters played a half. So he wasn't tearing up good competition, but he finished strong. And yeah, Ben Johnson is a great name to know, the offensive coordinator who took over play calling midseason and changed things for the Lions.
It changed things for St. Brown. And don't forget about that offensive line. As great as they're doing with their run game, they're doing a good job in pass protection too. And it's the run game. Defenses have to respect it a ton, and that's what's helping guys get open off of play action.
Okay, so let me finish up with this game here. DeAndre Swift, must-start guy, easy call, even with the injuries?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Jamal Williams or
the other guy.
Well, if James Conner's out, would you start Jamal Williams or Darrell Williams?
Darrell.
Darrell.
Okay, anything else? Kirk Cousins is top 7. Start that man. And I think that's pretty much it. All right.
Jefferson's over-under is 97.5 yards.
Over.
It is a humongous number. You almost never see it.